franchise like reboot, kind of like this is the next kind of Saw.
So that was
And
like Jigsaw and then Spiral.
yes, and neither of them worked on the level that they wanted to. I think it's just been like diminishing returns, even though Saw has always been like a really good franchise for very low budget to making like a
Mm-hmm.
lot of money. Like they would do like $1 million mostly. I think most of the films
The
are like
Blumhouse method.
$1 million, and
Mm-hmm.
they would end up normally getting a really great bang for their buck because a lot of those traps look really good and stuff like that. Even in like some of the bad Saw
Mm-hmm.
movies, I'm like, a lot of the traps look really good. If you like the style of movie, you probably at least enjoy somewhat most of the Saw movies. At least I do. Um, there's sometimes where I'm like not into the story or something
Mm-hmm.
like that, but then I'll watch them and I'll go, well, this part is kind of fun and very terrifying. Like if there's someone in a trap, I'll normally like imagine what if I was in there and then I had to
Yep.
like go, I'm about to die, and that no no like Michael Myers or maybe Freddy, but like no like serial killer coming after me is as terrifying to me a lot of the times as some of these traps where I'm just like
Mm-hmm.
strapped in and like I have to maybe dismember myself in order to get out of it or something like that. And it's just there's just no win-win for you if you're in a jigsaw trap, and I'm just like it's insane. But yeah, they keep trying to have tried to revitalize the franchise, and when I saw X coming out, I was like, I don't care about this trailer. I don't think it's going to be good. I always have hope, and I always try to go see them. Like I saw Jigsaw and Spiral both in the theater. um
Mm-hmm.
and I just always like, yeah, it was fine. Like the traps that they do is just like kind of like the same old thing that they do, but it's never like a good story or anything like that. That's really anything to write home about or go, this is
Mm-hmm.
gonna be like the next thing for the next like 10 years or something like that. But Saw 10, I saw, or Saw X, I saw good reviews for it. I didn't really go through the reviews, but I saw some snippets of what people were saying a little
Mm-hmm.
bit, and I just saw like the Rotten Tomatoes percentage, and I was like, oh, okay. Like, not only is this a favorable Saw movie, but like this might have the highest ratings
It
of the
it
Saw.
does because the first movie has a the first movie has a 50% on Rotten Tomatoes. This one
Which
has a
is interesting.
78.
Which is interesting. Yeah, because it had like 80 something, and then it's been dropping a little bit, but has not like severely.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very excited to go into this movie. I was trying to get Carrie to go with me, but Carrie doesn't really like this franchise, and I get it because
Mm-hmm.
it is the same thing throughout, and if you just don't like that vibe,
Mm-hmm.
the whole torture porn aspect of it, which I find a little bit of a reductive term. But
Yeah.
you don't like that vibe of it. I totally get not liking the movies. Um, and so she really struggled to try. I kept trying to like, please go see Saw with me, and I ended up taking my mom. I went with my mom, and she likes horror movies, so we ended up going and having a pretty good time, and I really liked the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm not gonna say if it's my favorite because we're gonna do Hunter. You're still coming on my channel, right? Just rank them.
I am.
So
Yes.
over on the Chadwick Webb YouTube channel, we rank stuff, and we're gonna be ranking Saw as part of the Halloween season. I'm trying to do a few of them, but Saw is
Mm-hmm.
definitely one that I was like, you know what? I'm fine to binge through a lot of these. I'm almost done with my binge. But yeah, I really like Saw X. I like how they returned back to the main like Jigsaw storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler alert for like Saw 3. Jigsaw dies at one point, and they have to
John
find
Kramer dies. Yeah.
that. Yeah, John Kramer dies, and then he has some sort of protege or proteges that help him out post. He has plans for post death and stuff like that. But this goes back to when he was alive, and when he was like first kind of getting his cancer diagnosis. And this goes back to kind of a uh think of it kind of like a bottle story, because it's like just one event that happened
Hmm.
in his time of post cancer diagnosis, and like first starting to do these traps and like, do his work, as he says, I've got work to do. um,
Hmm.
and what I think this movie does brilliantly, that pretty much none of the other ones really do, is that it really humanizes John Kramer. I think the other ones try to do that, and they,
Hmm.
go like, well, he's never killed anyone before, which is bullshit. If you watch
It's
the
bullshit. Yeah.
definitely bullshit. He doesn't. He definitely claims a few times that he's never killed anyone ever, but he just forces them to appreciate their life and stuff like that. This one's not really that. This one's not them appreciating their life. This is a pure revenge story, and I think that's really cool. We'll get into like
Hmm.
why it's a revenge story and like kind of what happens when we start talking about spoilers, but it is a revenge story. I think it's really cool because I'm still conflicted, but I'm more on John's side than I've ever been
Yeah.
in this movie. And I think that's so interesting because most of the times with the Saw morals, I'm like, I get where you're going, John, but I don't know. I don't think that's, making people appreciate, like forcing like a drug addict to murder somebody and cut a key out of their stomach. I'm like,
Yeah.
she's just a drug addict. Like
Hmm.
that's not a big deal. Like that's has nothing to do with your cancer. I don't know what you're doing, bro. But like this one really made me feel for him and really got me invested. I thought the traps that we do see were very well made. It was
Hmm.
very gruesome, very bloody. It made me sick to my stomach a few times, which, if you hate the franchise, is a negative thing. For me, I'm like,
Hmm.
it's a horror movie. This is like a definitely a horror
There
movie.
are moments in this film where I'm doing this shit with my
Yeah,
hands. I
that
never do that.
and it made me think through a lot of these like traps, be really just aware that I have stuff inside of me. Like you're never aware, like, well, I have like guts in me and stuff, but like
Hmm.
it made me like aware, and it made like my head hurt, and certain parts of me were starting to ache.
Oh. Oh
And
yeah.
I feel like that's what the movie was going for. These movies
Hmm.
aren't shy about like what they are, and I feel like this one dives into it, but it has a good story, and good characters. So yeah, we'll talk about it more when I go into spoilers. I'm excited to hear about your thoughts. But yeah, in general, I really like this one.
Yeah. So not any spoilers or anything. This
Might
might
be.
be this might be my favorite of the franchise.
Okay.
And only because, as you said, they made me care about John Kramer, in which the other movies didn't. Like, John Kramer has always been this morally, almost like a Punisher type character. Like, Punisher is killing people, but he has his reasons to. So it's like, it's that moral concept of, is he actually a bad guy? Is he a good guy? Is he a psychopath? Like, you have so many different elements with John Kramer, but this one really explores the revenge element. And what I love is, no spoilers, he still has a moral code. If someone survives, he's gonna help. They're actually going to survive. It's not like in the, Saw 4 through 8 or whatever, where it's like Amanda, making unwinnable traps where people are just, gonna die. Like, John Kramer has a code in this movie that if someone breaks that code, he gets really pissed off, because that's not, in his head, that's not what the traps are for. Is to kill people. It's there to winnable traps that people can win and improve their life in some way. Does it work? Does it not? We can always discuss that later. But I love the fact that in this movie, John has a clear code of like conduct of what he does, and if someone breaks that code, it really affects him, which the end of the movie shows that as well. I really love this movie. I think Tobin Bell absolutely kills it. He's a really great actor in this film. The dude is in his 80s, and it makes sense as to why you go back in time because he does look like someone who could have that, that cancer diagnosis. He's kind of old, he's kind of brittle, which makes sense even though you're going back in time. Uh, Tobin Bell is fantastic in this movie. I think he really this might be his best performance when it comes to like a movie based around John Kramer. So overall, I really enjoyed this movie. Now I'm ready to talk some spoilers. So guys, you heard our non-spoiler thoughts. Go out and see Saw X if you haven't. If you have, join us, and if you haven't, go and see it and then come back and join us because this is our section of the review. I'll start with this one. I love the way they make you care about John in this film, where it's like he just had his cancer diagnosis. He's trying to find, he's at meetings. He's trying to get, he's trying to get, treatment. And he meets this company, and they're like, we can, clear your cancer because one of his friends in one of the meetings had it. It was, supposedly all gone. They take his money. He travels to Mexico. They pretty much do nothing on him. They play a random video, don't even cut him open to check the cancer or anything like that. Take his money and pretty much leave him with nothing. Like they take his money, they take his, you know, um, his faith in, being able to find a cure, things like that, and that's what really sets him off to put these people in the traps.
Yeah, that actually was a really cool setup. Because at first, like it's not really a horror movie. It's
Mm-hmm.
John dealing with his cancer diagnosis, and I feel like you need that time to really spend with the character to get into kind of his worlds of despair and just kind of like trying to set his affairs in order, like he's writing up his will. um
Mm-hmm.
and he's going to like little coffee shops or whatever, and that's where he meets the one guy. He shows him a really gnarly scar, and then you're like, Jesus, okay.
Yep.
And then he's like, where did you go to do that? And it's not legal here, you have to go somewhere else. And so he
Mm-hmm.
ends up going to Mexico. And then they really like step it up with the whole, like he gets like kidnapped by guys and stuff like that, so you don't really know at first like who's in on this thing or if it's a grift.
I
but then
kind of wish they would keep that out of the trailers, though. Like the whole idea of like, if they just brought the aspect of like John Kramer is back and this is his backstory, but then not tell us in the trailers that he gets scammed out of money, I think that would have been a really cool twist.
I actually forgot about that. A thing about me and trailers
Mm-hmm.
is I don't focus that much, and I'll just like easily forget every story
Mm-hmm.
beat. The only thing that I remember if I constantly see trailers all of the times are like jokes or something like that. So
Yeah.
a lot of people will just remember so much about trailers, and then they'll go, "That was in the trailer. I knew that plot beat, or I knew about Andrew and Toby in No Way Home because."
Well, again, as someone who works at the theaters and his job is to see trailers, I saw that Saw X trailer so many times
True.
that I was like,
I,
"Yep,
I
I."
saw it like maybe twice. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but yeah, that sucks. Trailers, that's a whole other discussion because
Yeah.
they kind of ruin things in trailers a lot. But yeah, it was a really cool setup. I really liked him spending that time, and it just seemed like this thing where he went, he took a chance, he paid a lot of money, and he got saved. And because you've seen the rest of the movies,
Mm-hmm.
that he's not, because that he still has cancer and he dies in the third movie. But he then slowly realizes, like, it's so sad because he's had a really great experience and he's got
Mm-hmm.
his hope back, is what he says. And then he helps a kid with his bike, and then he goes and he goes to get
Mhm.
a special kind of liquor for the Gabriella, the girl that the woman that let him into the building, and kind of a special thing, like thank you guys for doing what you're doing. So
It's like
he's
champagne, and
going.
there's like a
I can't remember exact. I thought it was like a vodka. Maybe it was like a tequila because it's in Mexico. I don't know,
maybe
but
maybe it was a
it was
yeah,
some sort of
tequila.
special kind of expensive bottle. Um, but the cool thing that I noticed was that I think because he doesn't always trust people, I don't think he fully ever put 100% of his trust in them anyways, because
Mhm.
like when he's just kind of recovering from the surgery, he's sitting there sketching like landmarks and stuff so he knows where he is. Um and he
But
can like
also
mhm.
in that scene, sorry about that. The one thing
Yeah.
I love is that after the treatment, he is fulfilled. Like he feels like his life is has purpose again.
Yeah.
So what he does is he's drawing up traps. If you notice,
He is
he
doing
crumbles
that.
it up and throws it away, as in saying like I now appreciate my life, so I don't need other people to appreciate their lives as well because this cancer is gone, so he can appreciate more of the life to come.
Yeah, so I mean, if we, it's kind of this thing. If you don't have the cancer, you don't get Jigsaw. If you don't have the cancer, you don't get Heisenberg from Breaking Bad.
Mhm.
Um,
That's true.
you know, cancer's very bad, and it sucks if anyone's able to get it. And I wish you well if
Mhm.
you have it. But yeah, so yeah, he's smartly writing the traps. He throws it away, but then he is like kind of like marking down like landmarks. It looks like I thought that was a really cool touch. Like
Mhm.
John Kramer's a smart man. Like he's gonna what's he gonna do with his time while he's recovering? He's gonna like
He's an engineer, isn't he? It said in
yeah
this movie.
yeah, and he's gonna know where he is. Yeah, that's exactly what he is.
Mhm.
Uh, he does make a joke where they ask him what he does, and he says, kind of like a life coach.
Yeah,
Kind of a deal, which
that's
is
great.
it's a really funny line because you know what he really does.
Mhm.
But yeah, so then he finds out, and it's a really cool scene how it's revealed. The thing where he sees a videotape that they were playing while
Mhm.
when you're looking and you're seeing the surgery being performed on you, they were just
And
playing a videotape
it's his brain.
and it wasn't his brain at all. And
Mhm.
he slowly like unwraps his head, and
Oh, no
he's like,
scars there.
should I even do this? Like he's not fully, and then he unwraps it and feels or sees through the mirror actually, and he's like, these bitches. He doesn't say
Mhm.
that,
He
but
should have.
yeah, these.
Oh, there's one thing that we forgot. There is a kind of a Saw-like trap at the beginning of the movie
That's right.
with the hospice
Like attendant,
janitor. It,
janitor, like
yeah,
yeah,
he's like taking people's like money and watches and stuff, and you see John Kramer thinking about like, and that's the trap in on the poster with
Mhm.
the eyes. That's such a great trap because like you got to break his fingers or his eyes will be sucked out, and you see the eyeballs coming through like the little cleaner.
Yeah. Did he just imagine that, or did he
Yeah,
actually do that? Okay.
yeah. He imagined because remember in the movie, he the janitor sees him, puts the stuff back, and he goes, "Good choice."
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
Because I was confused during that part, and I didn't realize that that was an imagining thing. Because that was a really cool scene. I like that because I thought that he actually did that, and then I was
Mm.
confused, and I was like, but now you're right because of the placement. Like it would have
And he
been
goes, yeah.
accurate.
He looks at me, he goes, "Good choice," and he lets him
Yeah.
go because he didn't steal from him.
Yeah, and that specific trap that he did, I was sitting there like, because I know like if you're in that trap and you're you don't know the jigsaw killer, you don't know what this
Mm.
trap is, um, and you're just trying to figure this out and you have very limited time to do it. Maybe you would just be very confused and then your fingers hurt. But like that one, on like a level, like it'd be fun to go and rank these traps sometimes, but like a level of like what you have to do in order to get
Mm.
not your eyes sucked out, I think I could break all my fingers really quick.
Oh yeah.
If I had to. Um but in that moment, if you have a little bit of confusion and you don't know um what's going on, I could see you having some hesitation and you don't actually know what is going to happen if you don't
And
do.
that's the one thing that like I think is a negative on this movie, and there's very few negatives to me, is like that guy makes sense to take time because he's so confused. It happened abruptly. But like the people in the actual traps, like at the the middle and the end of the movie, like they waste so much time when they know what to do because like they press the button, Kramer explains to him exactly what to do, and then the timer starts. At that moment, I'm doing everything I can to saw off my leg or do whatever I have to do to get out of that trap because I have 3 minutes on the clock. These guys waste so much fucking unnecessary time being like, what to do, what to do. And it's like, he explained to you what you need to do to survive.
Mhm.
Do that. Take all the time you need. And by the time they actually do it, they have like a minute left. I'm like, you wasted 2 minutes just sitting there doing nothing. It's so
Yeah, I
frustrating
know.
sometimes.
I know. And like if you're binging through the franchise, like sometimes it's very frustrating if someone's like not doing like going quick or they're doing
Mm-hmm.
something obvious like obviously different to, what they should be doing, but like if you're in a trap like this, you just never know how you're going to react. So
Mm-hmm.
it's easy for us on the outside judging. But yeah, the traps that he puts that actually puts people in this one are like way worse as far as not getting your eyes sucked out, but like what you have to do to actually do it,
Yeah,
because it would suck to have all your fingers broken, but like looking through all.
sawing off your leg with a geely saw is way worse.
Yes, and just even like all of the saw traps like throughout the franchise
Mm,
are even worse, or a lot of them are even worse. So yeah, I'm
yeah,
like,
I will say I do love going back to my non-spoiler review. I do love the fact that all of these traps are simple and you know exactly what you have to do to survive, and he gives them opportunities to survive. You know what I mean? Like he makes it a fair fight. Like that one guy, Diego, the taxi driver, like he survives his trap. He cuts off
Mhm.
his arm with the bomb attached to it, and he throws it, and he survives. What does John do? He comes out with a first aid kit, patches him up to make sure he's okay, and he'll live.
Yeah, that one is interesting because it's really gross and it's really hard to do. But like I was sitting there, like when I was not Diego, sitting in a theater with my arms just fine. I was like, wait, how would you even do that? And he gets like 60 seconds. Like that's like one of the things with the times are always really varied and weird.
I thought the times were always 3 minutes.
No, like a lot of the traps throughout the franchise have been like 60
Oh, the
seconds
franchise.
throughout the franchise.
In
Yeah.
this movie, most of them are 3 minutes. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably a good thing for them to do because
Hmm.
like 60 seconds, man, you're probably
Not
gonna
enough time, especially if you're freaking out.
you're probably gonna yeah, I was about to say you're probably gonna spend like 30 at least 30 seconds trying to like figure out like what the fuck is going on. Like
Hmm.
you just woke up in this trap too, because a lot of times they're just waking up. So um, you know, what else? So yeah, so expanding the times I think is a good idea because they've
Hmm.
had like 3 minutes, they've had like 1 minute, they've had like 30 seconds before in some of them.
That one had to be like an Amanda trap.
Something I think Amanda actually had 60 seconds with the reverse bear
No, no, I mean just like like a trap
oh,
that Amanda set.
and that's interesting too, where if you look through the franchise, you'll get to see like, this one is more like brutal and you don't actually have a chance. Maybe that's like the other guy,
Mhm.
his trap or something like that. But Jigsaw is usually more of the I actually want these people to get out of it.
Yeah.
But they have to be tested, kind of a deal. And he keeps repeating that
Mhm.
this person's untested. Um,
And I actually wonder if the reason why Amanda goes off the rails in the later movies is because of the fact that, like, at the end of this movie, the main girl that she really wanted to die, the doctor, kind of lives. And maybe that's like she didn't really suffer enough in Amanda's
who lives?
mind. The main doctor, the woman, because she kills her boyfriend or whatever, and then has her head sticking out of the thing, and then the gas releases. So technically, she's nothing really happens to her.
Are you talking about in Saw 3?
No, no, in this movie,
Oh, which doctor?
what is her name?
Oh, I see what you're saying. The psychopath.
Cecilia.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and
You skipped all the way to the end, so I was like, okay, what?
oh, I'm sorry, but
All
like,
right.
I wonder if that's the reason why Amanda's traps become more unwinnable. Is that she sees John Kramer letting these people who have done wrong kind of escape without punishment. She's like, well, if I put them in a trap that's unwinnable, they're gonna learn their lesson.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I feel like you have to watch through because it's like the way it's pieced a lot of the movies in the franchise to actually go through and like get into the you have to like also like figure out if there is like a legitimate like through line for a lot of these characters and the
Hmm.
traps they set if there's that much planning in these because a lot of these are considered to be bad. Um I'm wondering if there is a legitimate like you can like go through and I'm sure people have done it, but like do like a string and be like, these are definitely jigsaw.
Like Charlie from It's All Sunny. It's Always
Yeah,
Sunny,
yeah,
where
yeah.
it's like,
Pepe Silva. Yeah, yeah, definitely. I know who Pepe Silva is. So yeah, definitely that whole thing. Um, the conspiracy.
mm.
Yeah, that's an interesting idea, and I've been wanting to like kind of go through and track some of the stuff.
Once Saw X comes out on digital or comes out on streaming, I'm very interested to watch Saw 1, Saw X, and Saw 2 and see if it ties into each other in
Yeah,
like a
that'd be a cool way to do
certain
it
aspect.
for sure.
So let's talk about some of our favorite traps. I love the Aztec, the Mexican Aztec mask that comes back from when John Kramer.
That's the second one. Or
Yeah,
the fourth one technically, but
technically, but
second
yeah,
one of the main series.
yeah.
The
And what's cool is like he gets that idea and he's actually drawing that mask idea on the drawings and the paper he throws away. So you have that. Plus you have him using the Aztec mask as in like a something he's learned, like he's learning about Aztec warriors, and like the mask just like closes on that person, and it's so cool.
that
The
trap
brain surgery beforehand.
that trap I think is I'm wondering I don't know if like the thing that happens to him when he fails because he fails and
Mm.
the thing that happens to him I don't know if that's the worst bit. Um
Oh yeah.
but the thing that he has to do is definitely the most difficult.
Oh, the brain surgery, the cell brain surgery.
Like, because you have to
Oh.
like learn what these tools do, and then you have to cut into your skull, pry it open, and then you have to start extracting some of your brain of all of which you don't know what it does.
Hmm.
So you could be just like messing yourself up, and losing
Well, I
some
will
of your.
say John Kramer did say he had like a circle dotted on his head. So you would think it would be a safer, because even he said he was like, people have survived brain surgeries just fine because the brain takes something when a piece missing and then
Yeah,
pretty much grows
that's
it back.
That's also when you have like professional doctors doing this for
Yeah,
you while you're
yeah,
asleep. They know what everything does in the brain. John Kramer is not a brain surgeon, so like, how do you
yeah.
know that he knows what the fuck he's talking about? Um,
Fair.
and setting up this trap specifically. So yeah, this one is the one that I was like, I don't know how the hell anyone does that. Like you extract part of it and then like what do you keep going? Like what obviously it wasn't enough because it had to like corrode in a
Hello?
certain amount of time. What? Can you not hear me?
You froze on me, or did I freeze on you?
I don't know. Can you hear me right now?
I can hear you now, yeah.
Okay, cool. Um, so yeah, your brain has to like corrode in a certain amount of time, and I don't know. It just didn't really seem to be that fair of a challenge because it's like you have to do brain surgery on yourself, amateur brain surgery on yourself. I was just like, this one just seems like impossible. Like I don't know how
Yeah.
anyone does that. So,
I will say I love the uh Gabriella scene
oh,
where
we're
she's
going to that one now.
yeah, I'm just kind of going throughout the Saw traps. I'm not really going in order. I'm just kind of.
Well, I was 'cause, did you have any other discussion about like this one?
Oh, I think I
Would
agree
you
with what you
do
said
it?
about. I would attempt it. Yes.
I mean, any of us would have attempted it.
Yeah,
I
but I'm
feel
saying
like,
like I kind of get what you're saying about like how does John Kramer know about the brain surgery thing, but he's a smart man. He's probably read books on this shit. Like they have medical books in the area um where the surgery was done, so he would probably know something about that to keep his victims alive because he wants them to survive. So you would think he would do something to where it's winnable. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
Because like it wouldn't make sense for his whole thing to be like, I want people to survive. I just want them to appreciate life, and then giving them an impossible task like this. Like he's not Amanda. He doesn't go off of emotion. He goes off of wanting people to appreciate their life. So you would think he would read books on it, know exactly what to do. Like,
So for that, like I definitely hear what you're saying, and I
mm,
in some way I agree with you. Like I'm not saying that John's motivation, especially for this trap and maybe the one that preceded it, um, I don't think he thought they were unwinnable, but I think that like he really stacked the tables against them as
yeah,
especially with this one because like honestly I just think like it's just not enough time. I think give them 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or if there's an effort, do like if there's an effort, I think you should win.
yeah,
Once he like extracted part of his brain, you win the game. It's got to corrode at a certain. It's like at that point, I'm like, he did the thing that you wanted to do. Holy shit, dude! Like let him out of the
yeah.
trap. But you know,
Overall, though, I really like this trap. This might be my favorite trap only because it's like it ties in to John's like Mexico adventure. Like he learns about the
true.
Aztecs, and it's that same face that he sees that the taxi driver is taking him to. They talk about sacrificing them to Aztec warriors and things like that. So he uses that kind of against them. I like that element. The
Okay.
brain surgery was really fucking tough to watch. So it was kind of
Yeah,
fun squirming in your
made my
seat.
head hurt.
Oh, it was so good. But the Gabriella one is the most sad one because she survives hers.
Yeah, that's
And
also a rough one. Because basically, he's using for each one, he's using like different kind of aspects of like his surgery
it's
to,
cancer.
yeah.
Because
And
this one
so,
is like the radiation, right? It's like I have to go through radiation therapy.
yeah,
So here is this big radiation kind of machine.
yeah, and you can already see that it's like really messing her up, like as she's doing it, which is another thing to where I'm like, I don't know. Like, it's for me, like, I feel like, because I mean, I would never do this. I would never create traps to put people in. But if I were
No,
going
no,
to,
no, no one in their right mind would.
no. But if I were going to, if I was going to be a John Kramer and I was going to do something like that, I don't think I would want to leave people extremely disfigured
Hmm.
for the rest of their lives, but they can appreciate their life, but they're still pissed off and sad and in pain for the rest of their life and stuff like that. So like that's why like with the radiation thing, I'm like she's not going to have a good life even if she survives this.
Mm.
You know, because like radiation sickness is like very tough. If you've ever seen what was that one show on HBO about the Chernobyl? You ever seen
Oh,
that
Chernobyl.
show? Bruh, if you get like radiation like that bad, it's bad. But yeah, anyways, she has to basically knock her hand, break her hand, and break her ankle foot to get out of the
What
thing.
would you do in that situation?
Which I also didn't know, like how it worked. You just whack wildly at your hand until it breaks, and then you fall. I was like, how do you even know what you're breaking up there to know if you're breaking
Would
the
you
right?
break your hand or your leg first in this
Well,
situation?
she breaks her leg first, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you have to do that because if not, you'd be hanging like upside down or something, right?
Well, no, I mean, I would break my leg first, or no, I mean
Yeah.
my arm first. That way, I'd swing underneath and then break the chain when I'm on the floor.
What? Oh, so because you
Because
would crash
if
on
you're
the.
hanging like that, you would crash on the floor, and then you would break the chain with your arm free.
I didn't even think about it like that, but I think the psychopath lady was telling her to break
Cecilia,
her foot
which
first.
I'm pretty sure that was a her plan to begin with, was just to get her killed.
I mean, she ends up killing her. So
I know it's so, and you see the pain on John Kramer's face. He goes, "She survived. Like
yeah,
she deserves to live."
yeah.
And that's the scene I'm talking about, where like John Kramer has a code, and if you fuck with that code, he gets really pissed off, and that
It was
leads to the ending as well.
it was really cool to see that because I feel like sometimes it can be a little bit wishy washy with the code, and
Mm.
you're just like, I don't know if your code is really like up to snuff here, John.
Hey,
But then
sorry to do this. I have to head out in just a second to work.
okay,
Um, but if we want to go ahead and finish up the spoiler talk, I got another probably 10 minutes.
10 minutes, yeah, we can do that. And then if we want to talk about more, maybe we could do a part two down the road. But yeah,
Oh yeah.
Gabriella Sad, go to the first trap in the
Oh
scene.
yeah. So this woman uses the jilly saw, right? And
Yeah,
she has to pretty much cut through her leg with a jilly saw, which if you don't know what it is, it's like a line with two ends, and you kind
like
of go back
piano
and forth.
wire. Yeah,
Yes, piano wire going back and forth. She has saw off her leg. She does that just not in time, and head gets cut off.
that one is so rough because you can see like if it's been a while since you've seen a Saw movie, you're just like, oh yeah, she's really in for it, and you can see like her scared, she's in pain. Everyone else is reacting to this because they've never seen
Mm-hmm.
anything like this before. Um, and then, she does everything asked of her. She just doesn't get enough blood. And I feel like that to me, like once you get the leg cut off, I think you should win. So that's
Oh
another
yeah.
crap where I'm like, I just wish they wouldn't have gone the full way, but you need people to die in the movie, I guess, to
Mm-hmm.
justify like, he's getting his
And
revenge.
I mean, they're not good people either. Like Gabriella is the only one that I feel bad for, and they actually give her kind of a hero's death because it's not John who kills her.
The only one that I don't feel bad for is the psychopath lady because she's the mastermind behind it all. Everyone else I can see easily being coerced by her.
Yeah, but I mean, like the doctor, like Diego, the one who gets the mask put on, like
Mhm.
he was supposed to be this big time surgeon, and he's in on it the whole time, and he doesn't do anything.
But
So
but what I'm saying is we didn't see this. We didn't see like this grift form. Like we didn't see them all getting together. But I could totally see her going through and coercing all of these people, including her love interest that we have to talk about in
Parker,
a second.
yeah, I will
Coercing
say,
all these
oh sorry,
people to go along with her and grift people and being like,
mm-hmm.
no, look, these people, they've lived their lives. They now have cancer. They're going to die anyways. So why shouldn't we get that money? We need help, like especially you guys who are like, probably not doing so hot in Mexico, and so people who are down on their luck could probably be easily.
Gabriella is the only one I feel bad for because, like Amanda, she was a drug addict who Cecilia coerced using money to feed her addiction.
But that's what I'm saying. I think like all of these people, like one was like a sex worker, and
Was she
I think the Geely Saw woman was a sex worker. Doesn't she get
Oh,
kidnapped by
Amanda?
she was like at a club or something like that? No, not Amanda, like
Maybe.
the Geely Saw woman. Anyways,
Oh yeah.
I'm saying I feel bad for everyone except for this lady and also maybe her love interest.
And it sucks because the one lady you hate the most survives.
I know. Well, she survives, but like, is she gonna ever get out of that room? I
I
guess
mean
one day.
the toxic room is gone. Like all she has to do is walk out.
I guess that's true.
Because the red light comes on and all the toxic poison goes away through the vents. So she's definitely gonna live.
That's the bad part about the movie. I think she should have died.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get to the ending. Parker, who's a character we met early on in the movie, actually shows up because you think it's because he found out that it was a scam. He was going after Cecilia. Turns out that he was the one who Cecilia called on the phone, not her father. Shows up and they try to pretty much pull a gun on John Kramer. And this is the one thing I don't understand. Like, did John Kramer? Well, no, they actually show in the movie that Kramer knows that Parker's in on it because the taxi driver tells him, and then Amanda sees the phone ID number, like it
Yeah.
says like his name on it. So I get that. Um, did John Kramer plan for him and Amanda both to be in that final like blood
I
born?
don't know if they planned for that necessarily, but I think that he had probably in his mind, John probably plays chess. And like in one of the earlier Saw movies, I think it might have been like Saw 4, like he's
Mm-hmm.
going through and teaching one of his proteges, and they're actually going through and they're setting up all the traps for like Saw 2. And the guy's like, well, how do you know that they're going to do this? And then he's like, once you know human nature, you can kind of predict a lot of these things. So I think it's him playing mental chess with how
Yeah.
people will think, and he's like in the minds of all these people. So I think that he could probably have predicted that if this happens, then this will probably happen, then this. And then he was like, I know these traps so well that if I'm ever caught in one of these, I know how to get out of it. I know how to figure out, the thing, because the stakes were there. And when he actually gets caught in that trap with that kid that he helped
Oh,
earlier in the
that's
movie,
one thing that the Saw movies have never done. Put a kid in the trap.
if you don't count like that, the guy in the first part of the with the eyes, kind of a
Yeah.
kid, but this is a literal kid like playing
This is
like
like a 10-year-old kid.
he's so cute, and I'm just like, no, like he had a special connection with John. I felt kind of
And if
like
you notice, when John is teaching him, fixing his bike, that's where he learns the saying "Don't
no,
pull."
no halas, no hara, whatever it
Yeah,
is.
and that comes back when he's like, "Don't pull, like don't
Yeah,
pull the lever."
I love that part. And I was even saying that to my mom, like on the drive home. I was like, no hala or no whatever it is. I
Yeah,
forgot the word for pull. But
that's the moment where like Cecilia became worse than John Kramer, in my opinion, and where you rooted for John because like she put a child in a saw trap.
yep.
Like,
And
and again, John is like, he has nothing to do with this. Why are you bringing him into this?
yeah, and yeah, I loved and hated that part because the stakes were real. I was like, I don't know how
Mm-hmm.
John and Amanda are going to get out of this. I know that they're going to. I don't know how, but that kid could die. And
Oh, I gotta head out in a minute.
yeah, so anyways, I was just saying like that kid could die. He didn't. And I thought that trap was brilliant. It really showed, because it was also the first time that we got Jigsaw in one of his own traps. And I thought that was really cool because it showed that he's willing to be tested. He's willing to put himself in danger. And I love how he's like, I got nothing to lose. I could die, but I don't want that kid to die. And so when he
Yeah.
said, don't pull, he did, but then he was like, don't stop.
He said
Um,
stop, and then he did it.
and then, that's actually doing it to himself, being in his own trap for one of the first times.
And then,
First time, which
is
is
it
really
the ending
cool.
that like Parker picks up the gun and that from the safe, and that triggers his
Yeah.
own trap?
Or he goes and he gets the money, and
Yeah,
getting the money that's not
it's the
actually
safe.
money, was the thing. And it's like all
I
the
love that.
the numbers that she had written down or something. And it's like
Mhm.
going for the money was the worst thing you could do, and that ends up killing one of them. And hope it should have killed the other one, but you
The
know
end of the movie is kind of cheesy, but I kind of like it. Like John Kramer and Amanda taking this little boy covered in blood, and you have like the outside light shining. It's so cheesy.
Yeah. I really liked it. I liked the ending. I thought the movie was very good. I really want
Have
to
you seen
rewatch
the
it.
post credit scene?
I did. Well, the mid-credit scene
I
was
I
really
did not.
cool.
I walked out early, and then I heard I missed Huffman, and I was like, no.
It was really cool because it was them getting the guy who
Yeah,
told John about that lady in that
and,
surgery.
and he goes, "Where's your scar?"
Yeah, there's no scar and it's all gone. It was a whole grift. He was a part
By
of
the
it.
way, was that Huffman he talked to on the phone where he's like, "Detective, I need help"?
Yes, I think it was.
That would make the most sense.
Yeah, and so it was really cool to see him return and to see him helping him with the revenge. And it was a
Mhm.
really cool like little knife trap that guy had. But yeah, ultimately very good movie that I really liked, and I'm actually looking forward to see if they keep going, because you know uh, I'm sure
I
they
can't wait
will.
to see more.
I'm sure they will, but if they can keep making like little movies like this, I don't know how the hell they would do it, because it seems like kind of a one-off. But
Hmm.
I'm interested, is what I'll say. If they come out with Saw 11, I'll be interested. So
Oh yeah. All right, guys. Sorry for having to cut this short. I do have work in like 30 minutes, but I got to get there. It's a 20-minute drive.
yeah,
But overall, thank you for joining me, Chad, for this Saw X
it was
spoiler
very
review. We
fun.
definitely should do more, another part maybe soon to talk about more of our favorite moments because we kind of
Yeah, we can.
jumped through it. But if you guys did enjoy this, please hit that like button, subscribe to Nerd Entertainment Network down below. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys soon. Peace.